Most people's knowledge and skills are pointed toward the labour market because that's what we've been taught to do. Work, work, work and sell your knowledge, labour, skills and knowledge to an employer. You can't actually get more money out of the employer, an incremental wage rise at best. Wages are actually flattening out. You can take your knowledge and skills and turn it into capital, getting well rewarded for it. It's not about reinventing yourself. It's about taking your skills and pointing them at enterprise instead of the wage economy. Now that's a step to the left, and if you can shift your mind, you will be well rewarded for it. That's what entrepreneurialism is all about. Wages are not growing as fast as capital. So if you can't afford to buy capital, if you can't afford to buy lots of houses or buy businesses, fine, set up your own. Because now the internet and growth in technology gives us the opportunity to do that. You may not know how to do that, but that's what taking opportunities to learn is all about. To increase your value to an enterprise market instead of the wages market. Eric Bjornjolfsson says inequality has increased in almost all countries of the world, especially in advanced modern countries. 17 of the 22 OECD countries have seen an increase in inequality in recent years. Do you want a future that's controlled by a dying economy, or a future you are in control of, just requiring a few skills? If you take the world's richest 1%, they are worth on average $27 million each. You have to do something to see yourself in the haves, not sitting back passively, waiting for something to happen which will guarantee you go into the have-nots. So to profit from the economic changes ahead, you've got to convert your knowledge and experience into capital and focus on the drivers of change. That's the gold rush I'm actually talking about. Not everyone is doing it because they're still stuck, hoping and anticipating that the good news coming out of America will continue, but that's the winner's curse, because everything will rocket up until it gets to a point where it cannot sustain itself. Then it'll implode. When you focus on the drivers of change, you can position yourself for the opportunities that are coming down the pipeline. No one knows when the next crash will happen, so you have a few years left to gain those skills. Estimates vary from 2016 to 2024, but all the brightest economic thinkers are in unanimous agreement. It's not a matter of if, but when. Unless this happens, says economist Tyler Cohen, you run the risk of the hollowing out of the middle class in the OECD countries. In other words, the middle class gets separated into the haves and have-nots. An interesting thing to know about that is the global middle class is actually growing in size because of an emerging 2 billion people. So it's the hollowing out of the middle class you need to worry about. Cohen notes that globalization and better values of value are cutting a swath through industries and services that are rich in developed nations. One of the biggest groups being impacted the most are women born around 1960 who were once identified as having a very important role in terms of nurturing and rearing children. Let's say the children have now left home, and let's say the relationship breaks down. How do they now support themselves when the workforce is biased against them? So now they have to go from what was a middle-class lifestyle onto welfare of some description. From 2000 to 2013, affordable one-bedroom apartments are now diminishing. This is what happens to those women. They're paying in excess of 80% of their welfare payments just on rent, and they're having to survive off the smell of an oily rag. When you read the papers, you'll start to see the middle class is being hollowed out, soon to become a thing of the past. From the Age, middle class, hard-working and homeless. Another headline, the hollowing out of the middle class, and rest in peace, middle class. Those born in the 50s and 60s were flooded with TV shows which were all about the activities of the middle class. My Three Sons, I Love Lucy. Now they're all gone, replaced with reality TV shows. In a strange twist, Cohen notes that those lucky enough to be left with a job will increasingly find themselves under greater scrutiny. Have you ever heard the term Big Brother is watching you? Well, it's not a joke. It's happening. Your value to employers will undergo a re-evaluation because companies can now scrutinize the value that you bring to the job. Your work is being monitored more than ever before, and there's a record of everything you do. The scrutiny means now and into the future you're going to be paid what you're worth, not what you do. Companies will discover some workers are worth more than what they're being paid and some are worth less. You either fire them or pay them less, which boosts the inequality gap, hollowing out the middle class. If you stay with old models, the value you produce and the value of wages just keeps getting squeezed. Rapid economic change means you can do something about it or get squeezed. Again, there's no passive way through this. There's only an active way through it. Stay tuned for Strive not to be a success, but to be of value. Until then, it's bye from me.